Today, out of order garage, Saturn Vue has developed an exhaust leak where the Y pipe bolts on to the next pipe down the system. It's rusted away, so we got some new parts. Let's fix it. I'm John, and this is Out of Order Garage. Well, the original exhaust lasted 359,000 miles. Sounds like one of those Ricer boys. So this is a 2007 Saturn Vue. It's powered by the Honda 3.5 supplied V6 and Honda's 5-speed automatic. All right, let's get this thing up on some ramps and let's get to it. Leaves are falling. It's fall. Fall is falling. So we got it up on ramps in the front, but we still need to get underneath the back because we got to take the whole exhaust system down to change those pipes. So we're going to jack it up and put the back wheels on ramps as well. We jack the back up by the lower control arm, bottom of the spring pocket. You can easily get the other ramp in there, and we'll do the same thing for the other side now. These Rhino ramps are great. You can put them on grass or gravel driveway or whatever. I've had the Excursion up on there. They don't sink it to the ground. The old ramps that had just a metal edge that would dig into the ground and flip over and kill you. But these are great. Got a black set and a gray set. Well, we're up in the air. It's pretty safe. I feel confident getting under there without the car falling on me. Let's go underneath and start working. This is the Y pipe to the front bank catalytic converter nuts, and I've been spraying these and just going at them real easy with an impact, but so far they're not budging, but we'll just keep after it. Maybe I'll put a little heat on them. And there you have it. A little bit of heat, a little bit of PB blaster, and the nut came right off. Did not ruin the threads. Very good. Alright, the other ones are just a repeat of the same procedure. So that's really good. Alright, 2 down, 4 to go. So, cut the Y pipe apart. Got those 3 out. One of those broke, unfortunately. But then this one up behind in there, you can't see it. The head's rounded off, so I cut the head pipe off here. And I'm going to cut it back across there so I can get to that nut and then get this flange off. Have to drill and tap that and get some new nuts for it. So a little bit of a setback, but not too bad. All right, we got the head pipe cut off. You can see the one's broken off, one came off okay, and then that last one is all rounded and rusted to a real small size. So we're gonna try to wrestle that nut off of there and save that stud. We may have to end up drilling that one out also. The front ones worked out great. These back ones, well, not so great. But pressing on, so there's the rest of the system. We just cut it off down there. We'll take all that off and change that too. So here's the part that was leaking in between the head pipe and this other pipe. So this all rusted away. The flanges were shot. So I could have just put a piece, welded a piece in there, but then there was this hanger here I'd have to deal with. And plus this flexible joint looks like it's about ready to fail. So for $100 for a new head pipe and $100 for the other section we're changing, it's worth it, even though we have to go through the pain of those studs and the manifolds. So anyway, back at it. Breaking out the big guns to cut what's left of that flange off so we can get to that bolt. So after a while of grinding, we have that. We're getting closer to being able to get to that nut. I think I could spin this whole thing around and try to get that nut off with vice grips and hopefully not ruin the stud, but that's just a gasket there. We had to be careful not to cut into the manifold. It's actually, it's not really the manifold, it's the end of the catalytic converter, which is also the exhaust manifold on these things. So we're able to get it to move. Anyway, you get the idea. We're trying to spin it all the way around so we can get a hold of that nut. We're getting there. It's got a little more of this to cut away, and then hopefully we can get that nut off of there. We'll just file around it till it falls off and then rechase the threads, and the stud should be okay. Do a little bit of more grinding on there and see what we can come up with. Now we're going to take a file and try to file the nut without messing up the threads. Can't hold the camera and do that, so, but you get the idea. All right, we'll be back. All right, after prying and cutting at that other piece, we got it off. Just have to clean this stuff off these threads, and I think that stud should be good. Just have to drill that other one out like we talked about before. Now we have to carefully file down, not going too far to mess up the threads, and then I'll just run a nut up and down there gradually as the excess metal goes away. The nut will help run some of it out of there, and then when I can run a nut all the way up and down on those threads, we'll call it good. So we're starting to drill out that broken stud with a small drill bit, and then we'll step up to the 11/32 that's required for the M10 by 1.25 metric tap. Well, we're starting to drill it out with progressively bigger drills. We are all the way through it, so let's keep going. So the tap head without the handles fits in here. We're cleaning up this stud. We filed it a lot and chasing the threads on it. Still got a little ways to go. Take this off and do some more filing. As you can see, it's getting there. And we're progressively drilling that hole and then letting it cool. And while we're letting it cool, we're working on that. So hopefully we'll get it done soon. Well, we got it drilled out. We're starting to tap the hole. We're making some progress finally. It's been a while. We've got limited room to use the tap handle. I need a smaller tap handle. I think I got one somewhere. I just need to find it. Even more filing on that stud. We'll be able to chase the threads on that, but we got to get it filed down kind of close first, or the die won't fit on there and won't cut. So we'll give that a try soon. After some more filing and some tapping, we're getting there. What was left of that nut was just welded onto that stud with rust. It doesn't turn at all, even as thin as it is now. So we'll just run the die down it and clean up the threads, and it should be good. Creative ways of turning the die to get it to go around in there. So we'll be back. We're making really good progress now. Just a little bit more to go, and we'll have all those threads restored.
One eternity later.
Well, that worked. The die cleaned up the threads on that stud towards the bottom of the screen there, and the other hole is retapped, so we're going to put the stud in there, and looks like we're moving forward at a good pace finally. Well, the threads are retapped. Looks pretty good. Let's put the stud in there. Use the double nut technique to install the studs. Just back one nut up against the other ahead of time, and then screw the assembly in, and then use 2 wrenches to get it all apart. And there you have it. As they say, every job is one broken bolt away from becoming a multi-day ordeal. Anyway, it's all fixed now, so let's start putting it back together. There's one of the rubber hangers that holds the exhaust system up. This one looks, it doesn't look bad, but after going through all this, I got new ones. There's 5 total. They're about $6 a piece. So anyway, we're going to put those on. Well, I thought we were going to be able to reuse this muffler and this last piece of pipe here. There's an intermediate pipe. But look at this. On top of the muffler, it's rusted through. So we're going to order a muffler and then this last piece of pipe here, and the aftermarket stuff joins right here. So the intermediate pipe we bought will join right up. So here's the entire old exhaust system off of the Saturn Vue. So I'll end up replacing that muffler because it had a hole in it. All the rest of this stuff was okay, except that this joint here, these flanges both rusted away and it was leaking. So I had to cut that to get it off. This is looking a little peaked too. Flex joint was still good. Anyway, I ended up putting an entire exhaust system on it. I didn't realize I needed that last muffler too, but I'll go ahead and get that ordered. open exhaust. Pretty neat. So, what does it sound like with open exhaust? Let's find out. Got a little bit of surface rust on this rear cross member, and also above where the muffler sits. So we're going to use some Rust-Oleum primer and some black paint and address this. So here are the old and the new exhaust hangers. So the one at the front, it takes a 35/725. This is the old one, this is the new one. It's longer here than there, but it's harder rubber, so I guess we'll use that one. And then towards the back, it takes 4 of these 35/229s. Here's the old ones. Here's the new ones. The new ones are stiffer and solid, but still longer pin to pin. But we're going to use the new ones. These are the correct Walker/AP numbers for this vehicle. All right, back when we've got more to look at. So here's the old and the new systems. It bolts together here, just like the original. We had to cut that to get it apart, but then the original pipe was one big weldment. So on the aftermarket system, they had an extra joint here and an extra joint there to join to the muffler. But it's all good. It's all Walker stuff. Should fit on there just like the factory stuff did. Let's get it on there. After a little bit of painting and cleanup on this floor pan above where the muffler goes, it looks a lot better. Okay, so we got the muffler and that last pipe loosely hung. They're on these rubber things, which just slipped over the pins. Didn't even need any tools, just popped them on by hand. So I needed to get 2 bolts to bolt the exhaust system together. They are M12 by 1.75 by 35 millimeter. Where the exhaust pipe hooks to the catalytic converters, which are also the exhaust manifolds, there's a neat little ring gasket that drops in there and in there. Don't forget to use the anti-seize on the nuts. Next guy stuff. Makes it easier for the next guy to take things apart. That next guy might be me. All right, we got the white pipe on with anti-seize. Nuts torqued down. Nuts torqued down over there too. So now we just have to put the rest of the exhaust system on that goes between the Y pipe and the muffler back there. So the gasket that goes between the head pipe and the intermediate pipe, the holes are too small to put the bolts through, so I got to ream them out a little bit with this reamer. It's always something. So we used a ratchet strap to hold the muffler up in position while we got the intermediate pipe bolted to the Y pipe up in the front. So we'll take that off and we'll put the 2 clamps on and we'll be done. We've got the muffler hanging exactly parallel in the back. Looks like these pipes are coming up short to join. Well, they talk about aftermarket shit that doesn't fit. Well, you got it right here, and this is Walker stuff. So I'm gonna have to get a little pipe that is swedged up to fit over 2.5, but it's 2.5, like 6 inches long overall. Stick it in there with 2 clamps and everything will line up perfectly after that. Oh well. So this is what we had to make up for the too short of an exhaust system. there's the piece that we added in there. You see the two clamps. Piece we cut was 6 inches total, but a couple inches of it fits up in the other pipe, so you'll have to measure your own setup and see if you need one of these or not. But what a pain, but it's done. All right, the exhaust system project is done. It sounds a lot better. We'll let it run, heat up, do a final tighten on all the bolts, and we'll call this project finished. Wasn't easy, but it was time well spent. As always, thanks for watching. See everybody on the next one. Well, that sounds much better than it used to. Great success.